They don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. When I hop on a beat, I'm gonna be something like an oddity prodigy. Oh my god, he be rocking these beats of modern day Socrates. I'm unlocking the lock with no key. I'm not what they thought I would be. No mockery flocking to see my cabinet of curiosities. Twilight zone beside my bone. I'm split. I need like 5 mics on inside my dome. There's no lights on. You get what I mean? I'm by going. When I write my song, really wanna bite on like snakes. I say, better yet pythons. When I write my wrong, despite how long they never wanna break or be bygones. Mind of a comic, always thinking of new material. Out of the box, the way I kill these beats is serial. Even though the verse is hot and blasting through your stereo. They don't really hear me though. 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 They don't really hear me though.
Yeah, it's time to clock in again, hopping the wave, get to the booth, make draws start dropping again, stopping, never been no option, cause my competition been flopping again, topping the 10 best rappers coming out of my city, got them all sobbing again, plotting to win, but I got a question, when is hip-hop gonna start hip-hopping again, Haters mobbing again, shocking to see them all start flocking again. I'm gonna get the mic cocked, but I can't let y'all's blood get on my conscience again. I'd rather fuck your girl and after take the bitch shopping again. And she gonna come back knocking again, sopping wet, gotta start mopping again. Guess they never give a fuck unless I'm popping pills, sipping lean. Y'all say anything so you can cop a deal, so it seem. I've been proud of all my shit, I keep it real, being me. But if I gotta really rap, I shoot to kill, R.I.P. And they don't even know. Been giving y'all this heat, you sleeping and it really show. It's time to wake them up with shit, they make the speakers blow. But they don't really hear me though.
They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. Good. We went to a Cyclones game last night. They lost. I think it was 3-0. It was pretty horrible on the Cyclones' behalf, but always a great experience. We were about 6 rows off the ice, right by home bench, so that was good. And then today was a day of putting up all the Christmas stuff, that the wife wanted to get done before I take off to Vegas tomorrow. How about you?
Well, this weekend's actually been super friggin' busy, man. So Operation Veteran Santa went to the first family went today, which was up in Jefferson County, Kentucky. We delivered to the family there today. Got to go meet with Cletus Evans from Toys for Tots in Louisville to pick up some more toys for the other 5 families that we got. That'll come up I got to go meet him on Thursday. And then went to church this morning. Then we went over and did gingerbread houses as well, which is our annual tradition at the friend's house. And then our other friend, JR, his birthday, his big 50. They were throwing a surprise party for him. So I went over there for about an hour before I had to come home to get ready for the podcast. And today has been super, super busy. But other than that, I'm a little anxious for Tuesday. Of course, anytime you go under and to go under for any kind of medical procedure, it's always lurking in the brain what could happen. So I'm definitely kind of nervous about Tuesday on having this knee manipulation. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, man. But
You going back to the VA for that?
yeah, yeah. Dr. Klein, who did my knee replacement, he's the one that said, "Hey, we need to go in and do a knee manipulation." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was kind of worried about it, but he said it does happen, not frequently, but it does happen. So we'll just see, we'll see how it all plays out, and we'll just go from there. And but other than that, man,
Yeah, they just not liking, the degree of bend or
pretty much, yeah. So I can go flat with it. Like I can do this like 4 degrees, which is pretty much as flat as you can go. But when it comes to bending backwards, the bend's not there, not like it should. Which he was wanting me over 90 degrees, but I'm sitting at like 70 something. So which I knew I was behind. We lost our guest.
We did.
I know his internet was dropping in and out, but I knew I was a little bit behind the power curve, just for simple fact of transitioning from home health care PT to the VA hospital PT.
Yeah. You had what, a week gap, 2-week gap?
Well, it was like a 2-week gap. Yeah. So that put me a little bit behind. And more than likely, I didn't do everything that I needed to do at home properly. I thought I was doing enough, but obviously I wasn't. But other than that, I mean, we're going to go in, they're going to put me under, and they're just going to torque the heck out of my knee and go from there. So we'll just have to, play it by ear. I know you're heading to Vegas tomorrow.
I got to be at the airport. I think 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, something like that. Take off out there. I'll be out there until Friday morning, and then I go from there directly to DC for Reese Across America at Arlington on Saturday. I saw some photos today. Today was Gold Star Day out at Arlington, so the Gold Star families were able to come in and lay wreaths at their loved ones' graves, and I'm gonna go and pay my respects to those families that I know that have a loved one buried there. Of course, the 3 guys from Mogadishu that are buried there, we're going to try to lay a wreath at their marker if it's not already been done. If it is, there's 3 or 4 guys that I know that their family usually doesn't come in, so I'll lay there.
Nice. Yeah, that's something that we're partnered with Reach Across America Radio, and next year we're going to have a link so people can click on it, buy a wreath to place on loved ones' graves, and 5% of that, or $5 of each wreath, will go to a nonprofit organization. So I'm super excited about that partnership coming up in 2025. And then if you want to listen to HomeFront Sitrep, you can find us on Reach Across America Radio on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, which we'll talk about that more later today. But today, we got a Marine Corps veteran that's going to come on and talk about his new ready-to-drink cocktail mix, or cocktails, called Ula Cocktails. This is a variety pack that they sent me to test, taste test, just so I can talk about it on
intelligently, right?
Yeah,
and there's no way that he stole that from Ura, right?
Yeah,
right. There's no coincidence on that one.
Yeah, no coincidence at all. So we're going to talk about the 4 different ones that they have. One's called the Big O. The next one is Island Girl. Then you got Spicy Margarita. And then the last one is Prickly Pear Margarita. So we're going to talk about those 4 with Mr. Trevor here in just a minute. I will tell you, I was the first one to take a taste test out of each one of them. I do have a favorite out of the 4, and I do have my least favorite. So I will rank them 1 to 4, 4 being the worst. Once we get up on,
Well, I wouldn't say the worst. I would just say the
well,
one
yeah,
you dislike, or
my
you don't, the one you like the least.
yes,
How's that?
for my personal
Yes.
opinion, the one that I like the least.
Yeah.
Somebody else might like it better than I do. Of course, I'm not a big. I don't drink very often. Let's put it that way. I'm not a heavy drinker like I used to be when I was in the Marine Corps, and that's partly due to the Marine Corps saying, "Hey, you're an alcoholic."
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
so I don't drink like I used to. But I do remember Haskins.
Oh, yeah.
So he reached out to me yesterday, yet or the day before, and we talked for probably about an hour. He was coming up into Louisville. He's here this weekend. I was hoping he would reach out to me, but me and him's gonna get together soon and just hang out. And he was telling me about a story that I completely forgot about. Uh, I was living off base, and I believe he was living off base, and I had picked him up that morning, and we were running really, really far behind. So once we got on base, I was speeding because I'm a lead foot. I drive fast anyway. Well, some first sergeant, I can't remember who he was with or whatever, followed us all the way to 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines, and got out and was yelling at us and says, "Well, I know you're Sergeant Major." And needless to say, me and Haskins wound up in Sergeant Major's office later that day. Um, and I forgot.
Our Major Griswold. I remember him.
Yes.
So I've got a
Yes.
story. His son checked into my unit before I retired.
Oh, dang. So I heard he didn't he get busted down for DUIs?
Nah,
Because he
he got basically forced out. But yeah.
oh, okay. Because he got several DUIs. I remember his DUI safety briefs. Don't go out and get a DUI. And then guess what? Sergeant Major had a DUI coming
Well, I
Monday.
mean, that was our safety brief in Okie too.
Yeah.
You know, we had not us, but the other unit had a alcohol-related incident. It put us on lockdown for 30 days. And the first time we were able to go out and leave the base, he's passed out in the bushes down at Kane'ohe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that leads us right into the ooh-la cocktails. You have too many. That's what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So let's bring Mr. Trevor up on the stage. Welcome, Mr. Trevor. How are you, sir?
What do you say, guys? Good to be here. You don't like it the worst. Gunny was right. You don't like it the worst. It's just not your favorite.
It's not my favorite, correct. I will give you that. I don't want to say it's the worst.
That's right.
Because
What's funny is it is my favorite, and don't mind if I do.
like I said, they're
Cheers,
all
boys.
good. Semper Fi. So they're all good. I will give you that. They all have a distinguished flavor profile, which is super cool because a lot of times you get the ready to drink cocktail mixes and they all taste the same, even though they have a different name. These actually have a different flavor profile on each one of them. So I'm super excited to talk about them. But first, let's talk about you. If you don't mind, introduce yourself to our audience out there and then the people that'll come on and listen later on.
Sure. Stoked that I get to be on here, and really stoked that it's a couple of jarheads that I get to talk to. My name's Trevor Spears. Co-founder of Ooh-La Cocktails, ready to drink cocktails. I'm from Connecticut originally. I grew up in Connecticut, went in the Marine Corps from Connecticut. When I graduated high school, I went to college the first year out on a full drinking scholarship. I did fantastic. And the first the first war in Iraq had broken out while I was at college. It's just wasting time and wasting my parents' money. And I was like, I wanted, that's what I want to do. I want to go in the military. Wasn't really sure which branch. I had a girlfriend at the time, and we went to the airport to pick up her brother. I didn't have a lot of military, even though my grandfathers were both in the Army, both in World War II. One was also in Korea. And then my dad was in the Navy. So I had that, but it wasn't a big part of my life. But I had a calling. And so we went to pick up, I didn't know much about the Marines though. Went to pick up her brother at the airport. He's in his dress blues. So just imagine that, in the dress blues, walking through the airport. As they're walking, I'm walking behind him, and every girl in the airport was just like this. And I said, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then next week I went and joined up. I was in the delayed entry program for a while, and went in. I was infantry, as 0352, tow gunners. I assume they still have tow gunners. It was cool during the Iraq War to watch those tow gunners. I think it was Marine Corps tow gunners fire that tow missile into that mansion and blow up Saddam's kids, his sons. That was cool to see a tow. Really, I mean, those things are destructive. Yeah. But had an absolute blast in the Marine Corps. Got married. I was stationed out in Hawaii. Had a really good time. Did well. I was in for 4 years. I made E5 and under 4. Just had an absolute blast. So growing up in Connecticut, I played lacrosse. My dad and his brothers played in college. I could still play. So I went to UMass for a year, Amherst, back in New England, which I didn't really want to be back in New England, but I went there. My brother was going there. I went there and I realized pretty quickly I had Division I skills and Division III speed, and I was never going to leave the bench. And I was too old to just hang out there. And so I ended up going to transferring down to Virginia Wesleyan at Virginia Beach. And my wife at the time came with me and played a lot of lacrosse. When I was done playing lacrosse, I had no more eligibility. They gave me a diploma. And from there, I ended up staying here and got into real estate. And from real estate, bigger real estate developments. From that, made a little bit of money. And then we started Ula Cocktails with a buddy of mine. We're just kind of sitting around, like, having rum. We're big rum guys, rum and cigars. And we were kind of like, you know what? We should start a rum business. And I said, I've got a buddy who's got a rum business down in Florida. Let's talk to him. And, the dust settles after a few more cocktails. The next day, we're like, are we doing this? And we ended up doing it. So I won't get too much. I'll kind of get into that a little bit. But in Virginia Beach, I have 2 kids. They're both in college. They both play lacrosse in college. One of them she'll be going to law school the year after next. That's my daughter. She's the oldest. And my son, I'm proud to say, is at Norwich University, which in Vermont, which if you're familiar with it, it's 60% military, 40% civilian. He went there. He's playing lacrosse and rugby, but he's doing the PLC, the Marine Corps PLC. Yep. So he's going to be a Marine Corps officer. So it's pretty exciting. And like I said, I have some grandparents and my dad in the military. It was a big part of my life, and I'm excited to say that my son's going to carry on that tradition.
So he's going to outrank you.
Yeah, I think everybody in my house outranks me already. But yeah, from a technical standpoint, yes, he will.
Nice. So Ula Cocktails just launched in July, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
And how has other people's reaction to the brand?
So it's interesting. Like anything else in business or in life, you think you're onto something. You're like, this is cool, this is great. Otherwise, you don't bring it to the masses. Especially in business, but in anything, you don't bring it to the masses. So we thought we had great packaging. And, taste is subjective, but we thought we had great taste. And in any business, there's paralysis by analysis. Like, when do we drop? And finally, we're both entrepreneurs, me and my business partner, Chris Klein. And we said, you know what, the heck with it. Now we're dropping. So we dropped, and the impact of the drop and people tasting it and looking at the brand. First, it's friends and family. So, you're going to get, a little smoke blown up your wazoo, or, but you're hopeful it's not. But then it starts to go out to people that you don't know. And when you get that reaction, it could be encouraging or it could be kind of crushing. And for us, it was incredibly encouraging. People really liked it, really enjoyed it. There's a lot of events here in Virginia Beach. It's sort of the surf city of the East Coast, whereas the West Coast is like Huntington. And so we kind of got into that community too. After college, I'd been surfing forever, and I actually surfed. I was a hack pro, but I surfed professionally for a couple of years, longboards. But I was one of the lower tier of those guys. But still I have all these relationships in that community. And there's a big surf contest here called East Coast Surfing Contest. It's the oldest surf contest in the United States. I think it's the second oldest in the world behind Bells Beach in Australia. So we were the ready to drink cocktail sponsor for it. And it went kind of berserk there. I mean, you have over 100,000 people there over the week hitting it. So we've gotten great feedback.
No, that's awesome,
Nice.
man. That's super cool because so you guys were gracious enough to send me a variety pack, and I took it over to. We had a ugly sweater Christmas party last night, and it was prime time to let everybody taste it. And there was like 20 people there, and like I said, I was the first one to take a sip out of each can. And I love, for one, I love the way it's packaged. My wife loves the beach. That's why we're moving to Florida in a couple of years, because she loves the beach, and that's where we're going to wind up going. I'm also I coconut rum is something that I do drink occasionally, especially so I do water with strawberry Crystal Light, and then I'll put Malibu in there, which we call the summertime drink. It's what we call in our friends group. So I was really excited to try these because some are made with vodka, some are made with tequila, and we'll get into those and here in just a second. But I did go ahead and tag Tampa Tailgaters in here. I definitely wanted to get them on board with you guys especially in the Tampa area. Chris and Jen, they're amazing. They're from Kentucky originally, but they're down there, and so hopefully we'll get them in there. So let's talk about the different ones, because there's 4 different flavors. You got the Big O, you got Island Girl, you got Prickly Pear Margarita, and Spicy Margarita. So I'm going to go with one that I like the least.
No. The least. Yes. The least.
The one that I like the least.
Yes.
That's much better, man. That's much better. I dig it.
This is my personal opinion. Nobody else's, just mine. There was mixed reviews on this one at the party, and that would be the Spicy Margarita. That's this one here. For me, I'm not a big. Yes, the one you were enjoying right there. For me, my palate, I'm not a big spicy kind of guy. Like when it comes to like Mexican food and stuff, I don't like a lot of spices. For me, when I took the taste, I got that spice right off the front, and then it kind of mellowed out after that. So not a bad drink, just not what I would prefer if I was drinking. That's just
you need to venture outside of Kentucky a little bit and get some flavor in your life.
Dude, I've been around the world twice, bro.
That's right, man. Well, look, spicy. If you're not a spicy, I'm a huge spicy guy, right? But if you're not a spicy margarita fan, it's definitely not your drink.
Okay. So my next least favorite, so number 3 on the list, would be the Prickly Pear Margarita. That would be my next. And this one it's not bad. Like, it's not bad at all. I guess I'm just not a margarita fan. And this one here tasted more of the margarita flavor in this one, and I think that's why I didn't like that one as much as I should have liked that one.
What, Gunny, are his reviews always this glowing, or is this specific to me, or
this is basically what he does?
I feel like I'm back in right now. Nobody can say it's like
he's used to Kentucky bourbon and some moonshine. Maybe a Coors Light or something.
You say that, but he just described a drink where he puts Crystal Light and Malibu rums. So I mean, I don't know where I fell off, man. I should be in there. I should be in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, at least the Prickly Pear should be in there somewhere with that, right?
We're getting there. We're getting there. So Skipper from Veteran Nation says, I do vet cocktails every week. Does he have any suggestions? Yeah, we have Oolach cocktails. That's your suggestion.
Boom. Done.
Skipper. That's her. And then we got Mr. Travis Partington, host of Oscar Mike Radio in the House. How's it going, Travis? How are you,
Yeah,
sir?
he's up in the Boston area.
Yeah, he's up in Boston.
Go
right,
Sox! Nomar Garcia Parras, the best shortstop of all time.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Travis, if you want to come on here, just let me know. All right, number 2 on my list is the Big O. Now, I really like this one because of the orange flavor. I really did like this one. It was really good. Easy.
There's a story there. So where we are in Hampton Roads, every place, like again, Kentucky, it's bourbon, right? I don't know where Gunny, you're in Carolina, right?
I'm in Northern Kentucky. So yeah, I'm
Northern Kentucky. Okay.
Yeah, I'm 15 minutes south of Cincinnati.
Right on. So it's bourbon for you guys.
Yeah.
So right here in Hampton Roads, our drink is the Orange Crush. Yep. And I don't know where it began, but it became famous at this restaurant down at the oceanfront. I live right near the oceanfront, Virginia Beach, called Waterman's. And I mean, these guys just I can't imagine how much money they make off their Orange Crushes. And the last time, thankfully it was a long time ago, the last time I had a 2-day hangover, and I've only had 2 of those in my life, was the Orange Crushes that they had, because it's one of those things where it goes down so easy. And then all of a sudden you're kind of like, oh no, do you realize you have that epiphany and it's too late?
Yeah, it's one of those that you can sit there and drink and drink, and then you stand up and it's like, here it is. So I spent a lot of time in the Virginia Beach area when I was on active duty.
Exactly.
One of my roommates, his aunt lived off Indian River Road down close to Chesapeake. So yeah, I spent a lot of time Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Norfolk, going to the Bar Louie, the Bar Norfolk, the Bonquay, the bank up there, the country bar. So I have a lot of time, before my marriage, going up there and hanging out.
That's a cool place. You know what? What's funny is you spent time in Chesapeake. It wasn't that long ago that Chesapeake was voted the lamest city in the United States, and it has completely changed. I mean, Chesapeake's getting built up, and they have so much great stuff going on there. It's you wouldn't even recognize it. It's
been a while. It's been a while, like going out to Pungo and going down to Margie and Ray's for some seafood before they expanded their shop. So I've been down there. I think the last time I was there probably 6 or 7 years ago. So when it was back, the original Margie and Ray's, and the floor was all crooked. I think that's the back. I think that's the back part now, right, at Margie and Ray's. But yeah, I mean, that's right. I could talk that area all night long, and we had such a great time down there and hanging out with friends and enjoying the life of the Virginia Beach area.
It's a cool place, but the Big O is our Orange Crush.
Yeah,
and we try to master it and try to get it close to that flavor, and we think that it's a little bit different than theirs, but it's super popular. So I'm glad you like that.
Yeah,
let's go back to the other 2 flavors that Willis doesn't seem to like. What is the pairing of the spicy margarita? Is it a jalapeno and a lime? Is it
It is, and so. I love spicy margaritas. So that was one of the drinks that I wanted to have in Island Girl. My partner, Chris, he makes all these tropical drinks from his travels, and he made this Island Girl, and it's I'd never heard of it until he made it. It's fantastic. But when it comes from a business standpoint, you look at what are the popular drinks, what are the more popular drinks coming up in the U.S. And spicy margarita last year was, I think, number 1 or number 2. And named margaritas are the fastest growing flavor of ready to drink cocktails. So it was, for us, obviously I was partial to spicy, but it was a no brainer to have 2 of those as our initial cocktails.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you that one of the guys at the party last night said that the spicy margarita, if he had plenty of those, he would probably be running down the street streaking. So he said it will sneak up.
But he didn't say it like it's a bad thing. That's a good thing, man.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, so like I said, there was mixed reviews on those. I was just stating my personal taste buds, what I liked. So my favorite, of course, I love coconut rum. which is the Allen Girl, which is the one you were just talking about. Overall, in the friends group, this was the number one that everybody liked. Of course, we love the Caribbean, so I can say that's probably why we like this one the most. So this one is number one for me. The flavor profile on it remi- literally transported me like I was just sitting in a beach in Dominican at one of the resorts there, or on a cruise ship in wherever down in the Caribbean. So
You know what? That's why we call it a vacation in a can.
I love it. I love it.
Bang, there you are.
So yeah. So overall, what I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, for the brand, which is Ula Cocktails, I would give it probably a 9.4.
Oh, well, there.
So
That's
that's what
great.
I'm gonna rate you at a 9.4, and I'm definitely going to go leave a review somewhere. I'll have
Thank
to
you.
get you to tell me where we can leave reviews at. So we're definitely going to give you a glowing review, because overall, I think all the flavors, like I said, had a mixed review, especially with the other three, other than Allen Girl, because Allen Girl was the favorite amongst everybody that was there that tasted it. So.
Well, make sure that you mention your Crystal Light and water and coconut rum cocktail when you're leaving the review, so people know that you're a little bit of clinically insane. So
Yeah.
they know, okay, this review might be thrown out the window. Even though it's a 9.4, we're throwing it out the window.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think when we start with where the baseline is, if that's your baseline, I don't know that the review is going to be, many people are going to follow the review, but I do appreciate it.
Well, so my baseline is bourbon. Like you said, I'm a Kentucky guy, so I love bourbon. I've recently, within the last maybe 5-6 years, transitioned into ready to drink cocktails. When I do, every now and then, like I like the Jack Daniel's Down Home Punch is one of my favorite ones, just because it's got that sweet flavor that I kind of like. But now that I found these, if I can get them in Kentucky, which I was trying to find earlier, if I could get them here in Kentucky, I know I can go online and order them and have them shipped. I think I can have them shipped here to Kentucky. How is that working for you guys? Like online sales getting shipped to different states?
So we kind of looked into that, and the cost right now is prohibitive. And we can't just if you can't reach out to us, you have to have a special license, which means you have to put them at a certain place, and then it's the cost of shipping it, because it weighs so much, is prohibitive right now. So we don't do that. You kind of see some other brands that do it. It's a bit of a loss leader, not so much RTDs, but some of the seltzers and stuff like that. It's a bit of a loss leader. They lose money on it, but it gets it out there. We're not really at that size yet. And if you look at real spirits, like a bottle of bourbon or bottle of rum, or name the spirit, right? The profit margin on those is so much higher than it is on our ready to drink cocktails, seltzers, which are ultimately malt liquor, which is ultimately beer. So you don't sell as much, but the profit margin is higher, and the path to market is a lot more difficult. So to answer your question, no, we don't do that yet. We're not in Kentucky yet. We're kind of starting in Virginia and Florida and bringing them together. That's the plan. And at some point we'll probably be in Kentucky.
Nice. I'll give a shout out to my mom. Hi, Mama.
Did she get to partake last night, or did you exclude her?
Well, she was at home.
Okay. Because I'd rather have
she reaching out to you to say you're crazy. That spicy margaritas are the best. That's what she's reaching out to you to say right now, I think.
Maybe.
So where are you at in Virginia as far as sales? Like what locations in Virginia are you right now?
So we're in where we are right now. This part of Virginia, one of the big grocery stores is Kroger's. Kroger is actually the largest. They're the largest grocery store chain in the country, because they own so many different ones. Like They own Harris Teeter, they own a whole bunch of other ones. Which again, I don't know if you guys have those in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're
so we are in
here
those.
in Cincinnati.
Okay, yeah. Then okay, there you go. One, I think one that you would know is Total Wine, Total Wine and More. I'm sure you guys have those. We're in there, and it's been a huge success right in there, which is difficult because there's so many other RTDs there, or any kind of drink, you know. And it's, if you've been in those aisles before, it could be like, oh my God, I'm lost with all the color. But we've been incredibly successful, I think, because, you know, you've got to get somebody to take it off the shelf to give it a shot, right? And it's not an inexpensive proposition. You know, it's not like, oh, it's some PBR or something like that. I'll spend $6 on a 6-pack or something like that, or whatever PBR costs now. You know, it costs about $13 for 4. So it's sort of a, you know, like, oh, do I want to risk it type deal? Yeah. But people have, I think they gravitate to it for the packaging. They try it, and then, you know, it's great to get somebody to buy it, but it's the reorders, which is the real, you know, that's really how you gauge how you're doing. And the reorders have been fantastic. I mean, and that's the most important thing for us. And we're in a ton of 7-Elevens too. We're in a bunch of 7-Elevens, which is great.
So right there in the Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, Chesapeake area is where you're at right now? Or are you further away?
Yeah, we've gotten further. We've been out in Williamsburg. We've been as far out as Bowling Green. Apparently, we get pictures sometimes. We're like, "Hey, I just bought it at the store." You're like, "All right, I didn't know we were in that store, or, you know, these stores here." But again, I told you guys earlier on. I know it wasn't on this, but about 3 weeks ago, we got signed by Breakthrough Beverage as a distributor, which is the most important thing, is your distributor, your distribution for the state of Virginia, which is huge for us. The third largest distributor in the country. They're also in Florida. Hopefully we'll get them in Florida too, but it's all about them, people knowing the brand, and they knew the brand. They were familiar with the brand, and they're taking a flyer on us because they've seen it. They love it. They believe in it. They don't just grab every brand. Yeah. It's difficult for us to get into, to be carried by Breakthrough Beverage. And we've only been live for 3.5 months. And it's not like we're, you know, you have that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre brand, gin and juice. I mean, they're brand new to the market. I don't know who they're doing business with. It's just, I'm sure it's just their names on it. But they're a known quantity. Just off their name, they're going to sell, right?
But whether it's good or not, right? Because of who they are, and especially, you know, our generation knows them from, you know, the late 80s, early 90s. You know,
that's right. So it's just from a name, just from that, they're going to get people to grab it off the shelf and give it a shot. But again, I think our packaging gets us the shot, and our flavor gets us the reorder. So yeah, there you go. And I got the we have our. So I don't think if I had this one. This is new. So it's an 8-pack variety pack. Ooh la, the kickback cocktail. So it's 2 of each flavor. It's an 8-pack. It's 2 of each flavor. And that's really where the business is. 80% of RTD sales are variety packs. So that's where we're going to sell the most. You said Island Girl. Island Girl is by far our top seller. We were very scientific. My business partner, Chris, is a data geek. So the way that we did all these taste testing wasn't just us sitting around saying, "Hey, this is great. This is great." It was very scientific how we did the taste test. And Island Girl was the only one that it was the first taste test. And it was so popular that we just like, okay, that one is good. Boom, we've got one done. The rest of them went through a bunch of different tweaks. We had other flavors too that didn't make the cut.
Nice.
So do you think that you'll go back to those other flavors, or you're just going to nix them, or you're just going to stick to these core 4 for a while and then branch out?
So that's a great question, because we were talking about coming up with 2 new flavors for 25. And then again, with our smaller distributors that you have, you can kind of work with them a little bit, and they'll work with you a little bit more. You know, it's a partnership. It's great. But you know, when you get with a bigger company like a Breakthrough Beverage, they're huge, and they're incredibly important to you, but they're also a true partner. So if we want to come up with more flavors, one, they're not going to tell us they're not going to tell us what flavors to come up with. We're just going to say, hey, we want to come up with 2 more flavors. They're going to say, well, I don't know if there's enough room on the shelf for 2 more flavors. So you're going to lose one, or we're not willing to take these other ones. So we've got to bear that in mind. To answer your question, I don't know that any of the flavors that we said no to are going to make it back, because there's some new flavors that we're thinking of. And you have to watch the trends. What's popular? You know, some of these drinks aren't popular. One of the drinks we're talking about, or two of the drinks we're talking about, is we're talking about putting out a mule. So probably put out a mule at some point. I don't know if it'll be 25. It may be 26. We really want to concentrate on our core 4. And then a mojito, which I love mojitos, and it's super popular.
Nice.
Yeah, and a mule is one of those that just kind of doesn't seem to go away, right? No matter where you are in the country, they have their own version of a mule, whether it's the Moscow or Wisconsin or whatever. They have their own version. So yeah, I'm sure that'd be pretty popular too once people get a hold of it.
So you got the Triple Threat Vets podcast. 3 of them are in Texas and 1 of them is in Florida. So Ty, I think that's you there. You'll have to get out a bat for you and then ship it to you probably in Texas. Yeah,
Texas is one of the states that's on our radar. We really do love Texas. It's a big state. It's great for RTDs. Just love Texas. My partner Chris, he owns a bunch of Cricket wirelesses, and he probably has 20 of them in Texas. So that's a state that's on our radar.
Yeah, so Triple Threat. Ty, I'll get you connected with Trevor here, and you guys can have him on the Triple Threat Vets podcast as well to talk about the Ula cocktails. Because I will tell you, Ty, we had taste testing last night. We got the variety pack, which I know this one says prickly pear, but we had the taste testing last night, and overall, we gave it a 9.4, I believe is what we said, a 9.4 on all of them. And my favorite was the Island Girl, which you said was overall, the number one, first one you picked. So we'll definitely have to get together with Triple Threat and get them some out there and get you on their show as well.
Did you guys notice?
No passing off your bias on the boys from Triple Threat.
Nope, I'm not.
Did you notice that there's not a lot of carbonation in them?
We did notice there was not a lot of carbonation, which I really like, because with some of the other ready to drink cocktail mixes, there's a lot of carbonation in it. It messes with with my belly. So
let me ask you a question. You keep talking about the other ready to drink cocktails. So just name one, because a lot of times people mix these things up. So I want to kind of hear give me an example of what you consider an RTD.
Well, I guess it's more of a seltzer, but like the High Noons. Then you got the was it red, white, and blue, red, white, and berry something. I don't know. It's just whatever my wife and the ladies get, the ready to drink cocktails, whatever they get.
Well, High Noon actually is a ready to drink cocktail, because it's got real spirits in it. It's got vodka, but like the White Claws and the Trulies and those things, those are actually seltzers. Yeah. And you know what? I was on Fox News as a veteran-owned business. I don't know what it was, 2 months ago or something like that. And it was great, because the guy that I was talking to on Fox News, I was going to say something like, people are always, they think seltzers are RTDs, and they're not. And he actually said it. He's like, people are mixing them up. It's, like the High Noons, not High Noons, but these like the Trulies and the White Claws, they're seltzers. It's malt liquor, so it's beer. And I was just like, yes, you're exactly right, man. They're 2 completely different things. And the RTD segment is the fastest growing segment of the alcohol industry right now. And it is tracking to be that for quite some time.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, because I know Jack Daniels had stuff back in the mid-90s, the little cocktail bottles that they had, like the Lynchburg lemonade and a punch, and I think they had like 4, 5, 6 flavors. And then
those are probably
they went away.
Those are probably malt liquor ones back then.
Yeah.
Well, the down home punches. I can't remember. I know it's Jack Daniels, but I can't remember if it's malt liquor or not. I wish I had one upstairs. I'd go grab it, but I know. So Jim Beam had the cans that was Jim Beam and Coke, Jim Beam and ginger ale, which those were still bourbon. That's the way I looked at it. It's just a highball, basically, just in a can, pretty much. But no, our friends group, they like the ones that have vodka and tequila in them. They don't like the Trulies or the whatever the other ones are, because they're too bubbly. They said that they're too bubbly and too carbonated. For me, like, I'm diabetic, so Jim Beam and Coke is out the door for me, because I can't have the soda too much, and I don't like diet soda. I just don't like the taste of it. So that's kind of why I transitioned to water with Crystal Light and Malibu, because for one, it's pretty much 0 calories. So I don't know. But no, I did like the fact that there was not a whole lot of carbonation in there. I think it just helps go down easier, and it settles easier on the stomach without the carbonation in there.
Isn't it great being a Marine, because you have the confidence to say, yeah, I love spicy margaritas, and I love Island Girl, and I love Crystal Light water and Malibu rum, and we're the baddest. We think we're the baddest MFers on the planet, right, man? So we can easily say that, confidently say, yeah, that's my cocktail.
Well, what's crazy is all three of us were started off as 03, or were 03 at one point in time in our career. So, it's
the lowest of the low.
Yeah, right.
So when the Marine Corps said I was an alcoholic, I was drinking a 5th of Jim Beam a night. So I will give you that. And then I went 15 plus years without touching any alcohol at all. And now when I do drink, put it this way, the wife and I have been together, married 19 years, but been together for over 22 years. She has seen me drunk one time. And that's when we were in the Dominican Republic, and they all went walking the beach, and I was sitting in the pool with another Marine from upstate New York, and we were just sitting there talking, and it had a swim up bar, and I had my Yeti cup, and I just went up to the bar, and they filled it with Jim Beam and Coke, and needless to say, I didn't fill it until I got out of the pool. But yeah,
the pool in the sun has that effect, Willis.
Yes,
I've been to DR, and that you can get in trouble quick. My fiance Jess, beautiful girl, so lucky, and she asks all the time. She's like, "I've never seen you drunk. Am I ever going to see you drunk?" I'm like, "No, I'm never going to get drunk again.
I don't want to be that guy ever again.
I like to have a buzz, and I was a jolly drunk. I was never a bad drunk or anything like that, but I'm just so I don't mind it. It's just the next morning you're like, and it was one thing when you were in the suck, right? You get up and you're hungover and it's time to PT. It's time to PT, man. So whether you're hungover, still drunk, doesn't matter. Strap it on, let's get out there.
Yeah.
Sweat it out.
And now when you don't have that, when you don't have a gunnery sergeant telling you, hey man, I don't care, get out.
Yeah.
So there's a couple Marines that have started their own bourbon companies, and one's a Scotch. So you got Southern Cross Bourbon, which is Danny Dreyer. He was a gunnery sergeant that was part of the what was it called? Anyway, he got in a lot of trouble in Iraq. And
Haditha?
Then,
was that Haditha?
I don't remember.
Habanilla?
What there was. Put it this way. Anyway, he got into a lot of trouble. A long court battle. Him and his 2 other buddies were in Iraq drinking at a bar. Something happened to a civilian contractor. Needless to say, all charges were dropped. So they started Southern Cross Bourbon right before he got out of the military. And then Eric Dominiani, he's a major, started Fior Scotch. So I'm gonna get you connected with those guys as well, because
Eric's down. He's in Florida, right?
Yeah, Eric's in Florida. Yes. But they're not ready to drink cocktail mixes, but we can still get you connected with them to see how they're doing their business and stuff like that, and maybe you guys can collab together on something. Who knows? We'll see. But we'll definitely get you connected with those 2. And then I'll get you connected with some other veteran podcasts. I don't know. I know you got a PR team. what all veteran podcasts have they reached out to have you on?
There's 3 others I'm scheduled to go on. Excuse me. I don't remember all the names of them right now. I know the PR firm is the same as Eric's PR firm. So we've not met or spoken, but I'm pretty sure he knows who we are because we know who he is. And I follow him on Instagram and stuff like that. And it's always great like to see you guys doing well and for Eric to do well. There's nothing better, nothing more important to me than my time in the Marine Corps. And it's great. I still keep in touch with a lot of guys, but there's that instant camaraderie, and you have that with any branch of the military. But when it's a bunch of Marines, I mean, I spoke to you a little bit before, but otherwise we don't know each other. We're busting balls, having a good time. No one's taking it personal or anything like that. You can't, I don't know, maybe you can get it in other places. My perspective is specific to the Marine Corps. I'm sure there are other places, but I think it's special, and it's really neat to, and you're always pulling for the other Marines to do well. Even if you never met him, you're just like, I hope he does well. One thing I always say is I trust the Marine Corps. I trust Marines. Now they could break that trust, but immediately you trust, right? You have to, because you've had to your entire career,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're Eastern Virginia. Whereabouts in Florida? Are you throughout the entire state? Are you located more southeast, Orlando area, Jacksonville?
So, with the exception of Tampa, which we're going to make inroads at, we're mostly we're in a lot of stores in like the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. We have a lot of focus there. We've moved up to Orlando and Jacksonville. So we're starting to really focus out there. And then the Sarasota market, we're starting to hit the Sarasota market pretty hard. So we are statewide, like I said, except we're just not in Tampa yet.
Yeah.
But those are the places that we're really focusing on. It's interesting because we have a couple of areas in Virginia, but Virginia is almost like 2 states. It's Nova, Northern Virginia, and then the rest of the state.
Yeah.
Whereas Florida is like 5 or 6 states. You have your South, you have Miami, the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Then you go up to like, or Daytona Beach and those places. And then you go up to, Jacksonville, there's Orlando. Then you go over to, the Panhandle, you're Tampa. It's sort of a Naples area. It's sort of a kind of all over the place, but you can hit all those spots. Great thing about Florida is you can sell RTDs in grocery stores like you can in Virginia. That's not the case in every state. It's only about 30 or 32 states you can do that, which is really where you make your money. But Florida is the second largest drinking state in the country behind California, and California only because of the sheer population. But Florida it's a big time party state, and you look at our branding and you listen to our flavors, and it screams.
Well, and that's where most everybody goes for vacation.
Yeah,
that's right.
Everybody wants to go south, or you get the snowbirds from the north that go down. And instead of mixing their drinks, they'd rather grab something off the shelf anyway that they don't have to work at. They just throw it in a cooler, throw it in their fridge, and away they go.
So,
especially the younger kid. Go ahead.
I was going to say I'm heading to Florida for New Year's. So on my way to the Panhandle, hopefully I can find some of the island girls while I'm heading that way, so I can have them there on the beach when we're celebrating New Year's. So hopefully I can take some pictures as I'm heading down that way. So definitely.
You reach out to me. I'll make sure you get some on your way down.
All right, cool.
And Gunny, I need to get your address so I can send you some.
Yeah. Well, stay on after this. I'll need your address too. I'm going to send you one of my challenge coins for you.
Copy.
So you've been around since July, and you got four main flavors. What's your plan for the future? I know right now you're focusing on Virginia, getting statewide. What's your plan on expansion within the next 5 years?
That's a great question. The key to this business is to dominate a state. And so we've decided, of course, with my background, it's all about discipline, right? You've got to be disciplined. our business model is very disciplined. My partner Chris, he's been a successful businessman. His business plans are disciplined as well. You see a lot of companies try to go, let's hit all these different states, and they'll like kind of, it's almost like dot the entire country. But that's really hard to do. That's a lot of logistics.
Yeah.
So our plan here is, again, we're in Virginia. We're going to expand in Virginia. We want to own the state of Virginia. We want to own the state of Florida, and then kind of go down or up the East Coast, depending on what direction, into contiguous states and do as best we can in those. Because some states like North Carolina and South Carolina, we can't sell in the grocery stores or the corner stores yet. So it's their ABC stores.
Yeah, you got to go through the state.
That's right. So we'll be pretty strategic. Yeah, so we have to be strategic where we go there. But there are other states like Georgia. Georgia is probably our next state, because it's right there. Savannah is right there next to the top of Florida. So it makes sense. And you can go in the grocery stores there. So that'll probably be our next state. The only state right now that we're considering to kind of pop off the contiguous state is Texas. Because again, we have a business infrastructure there already, albeit a different business. And that is a big time drinking state, and RTDs will do fantastic there. But we do plan on expanding, but you have to own a state, right? You really have to own a state, and you have to be disciplined with your business model and concentrated, because it's always so sexy to go chase the next one. Like Pennsylvania is a big drinking state, and they just opened up their grocery stores and corner stores to RTDs. Oh, so wow. You're like, oh, let's go to Pennsylvania. It'll be great there, but you can't. You got to. That's a whole different area, and then we have to build an infrastructure there, and we don't have any infrastructure there. So we have to stay disciplined. We want to build out these states, go to the next state, build that out, go to another state, build that out, and then you really have a concentrated area. So if you're looking to get, whether it's VC capital or you're looking to start getting offers for someone to buy you, it's not like you have to be in 50 states. You have to be in a few states, concentrated, disciplined, with an infrastructure that can go on to anybody who buys it. And you have to show that your business model works, your marketing works, your packaging, your flavor profiles work. And then they're kind of like, okay, we're going to buy you early. And, they either keep you on or they get rid of you, and then they can build the brand. What it costs us for a can of Ula, an Anheuser-Busch who started High Noon, but they bought other, like Devil's Backbone. They bought Devil's Backbone. What it costs them to make, what Devil's Backbone paid for a bottle of beer is probably twice as much as Anheuser-Busch make that same exact beer. And their marketing budget is put through, hundreds of brands. So that they can make back. That's why they pay like pretty high amounts for these, because they make the money back just like that.
Yeah, so, and I, using Anheuser-Busch, they have plants all over. Yeah, there's one up near Columbus. I think that's the closest one to me. Yeah, and distribution centers everywhere. So it's a little bit easier.
And that's a great thing when you get with a big distributor. So for instance, Breakthrough, their big brand when it comes to RTDs is High Noon. So we were super excited to get with a large distributor, but we're with the distributor that has ultimately the Coca-Cola of RTDs. So we can kind of ride their coattails. And we're really not, if you taste the High Noon and you taste an Ula, we're both RTDs, but the consistency and the flavor profiles are completely different. The, sort of I don't know that they have, I think they use an artificial sweetener. So they have less calories than us, even though we don't have a lot of calories. We're only 140 calories. They're probably less than 100. So they sort of have a different business model, and their marketing is insane. And, they hooked up with Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports, and that blew them up also. So, we're a competitor, but we're really not a competitor.
Yeah. So on the marketing side, are you guys just social media, local media, paper? I mean, how are you guys marketing as far as the drinks?
So that's a great question. So, we were going to kind of look into the traditional marketing. We have a lot of social media, and our social media guy heads it used to head Paris Hilton's social media, the Kardashians. So he really knows how to hit these markets, and he's a really good guy, real successful guy. He's out in California. My brother created content for him for a long time. But you know, what we've kind of come to over the last almost month here is, in order to get it out there, especially since we're not trying to hit the entirety of the United States, we're in concentrated markets and concentrated states. It's sips to lips. And so how do you get sips to lips?
Yeah.
The best way to get sips to lips is in these stores. When you go in there, you see these tastings. That's when you really get sips to lips, because people come up and they're like, yeah, it's free. Why not? Taste it.
Yeah.
And we say to taste us is to love us. So our budget, and it's going to be a pretty robust budget, is going to be tastings at all kinds of stores. There's a great group in Virginia that we've partnered with. They have a great reputation. Everybody recommends them. I've seen them before. We do tastings, events, and relevant organic social media. What I mean by relevant organic social media, there's the fastest growing, High Noon's the top of RTDs. The fastest growing is this company called Surfside. And they do teas and lemonades. And if you look at what they do, if you go to their Instagram page, it's all consumer-based postings. Yeah. And, you know, especially the demographics that we're going after, you know, they've grown up with the internet, and now they've grown up with being on the internet. It's like us, if we ever got on TV or the radio as kids, right? It's like, oh my God, it's a big deal, you know, or our names mentioned in the newspaper. Yeah. Now it's instant, it's constant, and they can get on all the time. So if you look at them, it's, you know, Surfside and at Surfside. So we've done the same thing, and we're pushing that. It's got to be relevant, organic, fun social media. The overproduced stuff that you get from some of these companies, you know, it's cool to look at, it's flashy, but it's not really the demographic that we're going after. Yeah. And I don't know that it works anymore, because everybody knows it's overproduced stuff. It's got to be organic. Everybody wants to see, oh, I tagged at Ula Cocktails and they put me back up on there. I'm in their story. Look, and then their friends are like, well, I want to get on their story. Yeah, so it's that. But the most important thing is tastings, sips to lips. We have a robust budget. We're doing a ton of tastings constantly in both Virginia and Florida.
Nice.
A little non-traditional marketing.
Yeah. So the beach, when they have some of their events down there, do they let you guys come in and sell? Do you have to purchase a venue spot? Can you do tastings on the beach?
Yes, and no. We can't do tastings on the beach, but we've paid for venues, for vendor spots, and get in there, and then they buy the product from you. Ultimately, you can break even or maybe lose a little bit of money, but it's a huge opportunity for sips to lips. Yeah. Here, our big base is Oceana. Yeah. So Oceana has an air show every year with the Blue Angels, and so it's a big deal. So we were there. So it's a 2-day deal, and they have these private chalets that like companies will buy and stuff like that. In 2 days, we did 60 cases. Now, you know, and we've all probably been at high school parties where you went through 60 cases of beer, but those are anomalies when you get to the sort of the adult world. Right. 60 cases was just insane. And when we did ECS, East Coast Surfing Championships, we were their RTD sponsor. White Claw was the seltzer sponsor, and then Pacifico was the beer sponsor, and Pacifico is also the main sponsor. So Pacifico, I don't know how many cases they sold, but we found out, I think White Claw sold about 100 cases, and we sold about 60 cases there as well, which is a big deal, you know, and you know, to be able to do that. And another thing that came out is the White Claw rep became a friend of ours, super nice guy, and, you know, helpful. And, you know, you don't always get, from what I understand, you don't always get that in this business, but you know, when you find friends and allies, whether it's in any business, whether it's in the military, you know, you nurture those relationships, because you can always help each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's kind of like with podcasting, you know, for me, I like the organic grow, because there's several people, oh, we can help you get 10,000 followers within a day. And I'm like, I just want to grow as slow as I can. And that way it's organic, word of mouth. I'd rather grow slowly, and then instead of growing super fast and get too big for my britches and fail ultimately, because a lot of times what happens when you grow too fast is you fail. So As long as you're growing slowly and organically, sips to mouth, I think that's going to be probably the best route, course of action for you guys. So I love it, man. I love it.
Well, it's the discipline that we learned, right? It's the discipline that we learned there. And especially if you're a grunt, you can't always be disciplined, right? I used to love it. There was the Field Marines, which I considered myself, and then you had the Garrison Marines. And so if you ever needed to know the absolute definition of something, you went to a Garrison Marine whose camis in the field were starched and reflecting, everything was reflecting and stuff like that. They were always clean shaven. You know what I mean? They put black around their eyes with the camo. I was like, no, don't put black around your eyes. Any color of black around your eyes. There was those guys. And then there were the guys who were out there and, the camis were all beat up, tore up. They weren't shaving when they were in the field. Those are the kind of guys. But ultimately, you have to have that discipline. Whether you're a field or a Garrison Marine, you have to have that discipline. And it was something so important to my experience. I'm sure you guys would echo the same sentiment. It's super important. What a great thing that we all learned when we were in the Marine Corps. I mean, it's just fantastic. And I know that goes to every service.
Well, it's the first thing that they teach in the Marine Corps, right? Discipline, right? Willing obedience to orders, right? They drive it through that 13 weeks at either Parris Island or San Diego, and still to today, discipline is the first thing that they teach. And it's a continued trait that they stay with you, whether you're doing your 4 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Mr. Trevor, is there anything that we haven't hit on that you want to hit on before we drop you back and close out the show?
No, I'm just stoked you guys had me on. We actually have a podcast too, Oola Kickback Cocktails. Chris and I, we have a fun time. They're pretty short. We've done a few. We haven't done one over the last couple of months because we've been so ingrained in the business part. I would ask anybody who's in Virginia, who's in Florida, to kind of track us down and try us out. But more importantly, because it's sort of the metric that everybody's gauged by right now, I would ask everybody to follow us on Instagram, Oola Cocktails. That's OOLAH Cocktails. Follow us on Instagram. It's when we did Fox News, we got a huge influx of people. It was giant. And then as they found out it wasn't available in every state, you kind of bleed off some people, but we have a pretty good following right now. But it's important because it's the word that gets the word out. And as the word gets out, that compounds to the next set of people, which compounds to the next set of people. And as we expand, people will be able to get our product. But we just want the word to get out. But again, I've listened to some of your guys' other podcasts, and you guys are doing a great thing. It's great to see anybody being successful, but for me, especially for when Marines are successful, it's fantastic.
Well,
yeah, I just get to fill in from time to time, So the regular host is a little bit under the weather, and she just got married, and got a lot going on in life right now. So Willis reached out to me and asked me to fill in. So tomorrow night I won't be on. I'll be setting up for a conference in Vegas. That 3-hour time difference is going to kill me tomorrow. But
what a bummer! You're going to be stuck in Vegas. How will you ever survive
for a week? So what Willis and I'm from Maine originally, so I'm from New England as well.
Okay, right on.
And Willis and I met at boot camp. We were in the same platoon at boot camp.
Oh,
and
cool.
Ended up going through SOI together. Into 2-8 together for probably about 3 years. And then Willis went over to 1-8. I went over to 2nd LAR. And then I re-enlisted and got stuck on recruit duty. And then Willis got out, got recalled, and we didn't reconnect until maybe 2 years ago. So the joys of social media, and lo and behold, I'm here in Northern Kentucky, and he's only a couple hours away from me. So it's just crazy how we talk about how small the Marine Corps is, and how some of those friendships and the brotherhood is there, and it truly is. It's just you got to take the time to reach out and find the guys that you were close with and spent time with.
That's cool. That's so cool, man.
So I just followed you on Spotify, and I also put your link out there for the podcast in Spotify.
Oh, thank you.
Now, so you said you have Instagram. Do you have TikTok as well?
We do have TikTok.
Okay.
So I can't remember what the TikTok thing is. We just started. They just started allowing
Spirits.
alcohol brands to advertise on TikTok, and you had to have been on there already for 90 days, or you have to wait 90 days or 180 days. Might have been 180, but you had to be on there, which we are. So we haven't done a lot of videos. It's we still have to figure out what our strategy is on TikTok.
So
all right, thanks, Julie.
That's my wife. She said,
"You're the best, Julie."
Yeah, so I work with a professional skydive team, and we're down in Wellington, Florida, probably starting mid-February, every 2 weeks. For I think we have 5 events or 6 events down there. So when we go back down, so I'm sure I'll be going back down there. I'll be sure the guys pick up your stuff. I'm not allowed.
Where's Wellington?
It is west of Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, so I can go down there and you can take me skydiving. I've been a couple of times, but you can take me skydiving.
Well, just come out here to the Skydive Center in Ohio. We're the #1 rated drop zone in the world, according to everybody that voted for us. But yeah, we can hook you up and for sure. But yeah,
actually, you know what? I don't know where I'll be in Ohio, but I will be in Ohio. I think in March or April, because my daughter's lacrosse team goes their spring break. They're going to Ohio and they're playing like 3 games there in Ohio. So maybe I'll link up with you then.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be too cold to jump, but
we'll see. Yeah, I don't think we open up until April or May.
Oh, okay,
full time. But if it is warm, they'll be in there jumping. They're a little nuts like that. But
well, maybe we'll link up anyway. Have a cocktail and a cigar.
Yeah, that works.
There you go. All right, Trevor. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. We're going to drop you behind the scenes for a few minutes and close out the show. But it was a pleasure having you on. It was our honor to have you on. Thank you for sending the variety pack for us to try out. Like I said, we gave you a 9.4 overall, and that's amazing. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to go to Florida to get some more, especially the Island Girl, because my wife really liked that one a lot. So I'm excited, my friend.
Well, what we say in the Ula world is we're the Kickback Cocktail. Boys, welcome to the Kickback Nation. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. All right, I'm gonna drop it down. How cool was that, Mr. Sam?
I mean, so cool. I mean, a Marine out there doing a thing with some drinks, right? Who would have thought? Yeah. But no, I mean, I think, Skydive Suffolk's right there. I'm sure they do a lot of events, and I will say skydivers like to have a nice cold something when they're done jumping, and that ready to drink, those cocktails I think would go over real well. And then even down there, you've got DeLand and Zephyr Hills and all these Skydive Miami that do a lot of stuff too. So I'm sure that if I put this out into the skydive community, it might bump it up a little bit there in Virginia and also down in Florida.
Oh, heck yeah, man. No, I was excited to, get the pack and try it. Like I said, I don't drink very often, but I did have to taste them just because I didn't want to come on here and say, well, I didn't really taste them, but so I couldn't give them on.
What'd you think? Well, I didn't drink it.
Yeah. So, luckily I had the group there and we all taste tested it, and good night, Mom.
Well, and that's the good thing too. It's not just you, right? So you can talk about the other 15, 20 people that were there. Yeah. And what the general consensus was, and some people liked it, some people didn't. So it's too spicy. I mean, Julie came on tonight and said she liked the Island Girl. So I mean, they're getting that firsthand feedback, right? Which is what they're wanting.
Yeah. And then good thing is I know a lot of veteran podcasters, so I'm gonna send his information out to all these different veteran podcasts, and then go from there. And hopefully we get him on some more podcasts so they can talk about his brand. Because I love supporting veterans. That's what the whole mission of HomeFront Sitrep is to support other veterans out there. So that's and making that connection. I mean, he's talking about moving, trying to open up in Texas later on. So we got people in Texas that we know, and then you got Travis up north and Brian out in California, and all these, and Tab in Virginia. Matter of fact, or she's outside of Quantico.
But she's still right there in Stafford, which
Yes.
is still Eastern-ish,
Yeah.
but I mean it's still right there off 95.
Yeah, and she brings on only Marines on her show, so
Yeah.
we definitely got a lot of people that we can hook him up with that maybe his PR team hasn't reached out to yet. So
Sure.
we'll definitely do that. And then tomorrow we got Matt Quick.
You have Matt Quick.
I have Matt Quick coming on, and I'm gonna see if I can pull up a little bit of his information. Let's see, tomorrow's the 9th. Yeah, I had to think about it there for a minute. Matt. Oh, so he is with PMI, which I'm super super excited about. Let me type this. Matt Quick. I should have had this pulled up already, but I didn't for some reason. So it's Project Management Institute out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm pulling it up now. He's the head of military affairs at PMI. He is, let's see, come on. My computer's moving a little slow.
Telling you, you need to push for fiber.
I know, dude. I'm trying. I guess I should have done it on my phone. But anyway, anyway, he's with PMI. So, a Project Management Institute. He's the head of military affairs. Super excited about talking to him and seeing what he's doing there at PMI. So, it'll be probably me. There might be a special guest. Might have Theory come on. I don't know. Since Deeds will be out in Vegas, having some fun out in Vegas. So,
tomorrow won't be fun. Tomorrow's setup day, and setup day is always time consuming. And we have a 4 TV video board that we put up, and we've got to make sure that works. And our power, and there's always usually something in Vegas with the conference. It's all union ran, so you're not allowed to do anything yourself. For the most part. So yeah, tomorrow and Thursday are going to be two long days, just because we have a show on Thursday, and then it's tear down right after the show.
Nice. And then I'm gonna throw this up there. This one's on you.
Yeah, you're not alone. No matter what you think, there are people out there that love you, that care for you. We talked about it earlier with Trevor. Willis and I didn't talk to each other for over 20 years until 2 years ago that he found me on the Big Book of Face here. You still have worth, you still have value. And, if you feel as though that you are alone, you need some help, reach out.
And then this one's on me. Hashtag be someone stranger. It's something we started here on Facebook. We as humans are more apt to talk to a complete stranger than we are the ones that we love the most. For one, we want to protect them from our inner demons. So be someone's stranger, be someone's ear. Like Sam says all the time, we're not looking for a fix. We're just looking for somebody to listen to us. So hashtag be someone's stranger, be somebody's ear that they can listen to. And then you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Reese Across America. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. reaseacrossamerica.org/radio on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. And this week will be actually this episode so this episode will be on Reese Across America. So if you missed it, you can go listen to it on Reese Across America Radio. And then we'll give a huge shout out to Mr. Adam Bird at Heroes Media Group. Super honored to be a proud partner with Heroes Media Group and everything that Adam is doing. Veterans Voice Radio. If you love supporting veterans, if you go listen to Veterans Voice Radio, there's 2 apps that you can download. One Simplify Country, the other one is Ranger Rockwave. You can get it from the Google Play or the App Store. And it's all veterans or family members of veterans that have not signed with a big record label. So you can check those out. And then also Military United podcast streams. If you follow them on Facebook, there's all kinds of podcasts on there that you can follow that are great content out there. And then if you're in crisis, 988-STAR-1. 988-STAR-1 if you're a veteran, 988 if you're not a veteran or a family member of a veteran, just hit 988. And when you're talking to those people, if you don't like the person you're chatting with, disconnect. call back in, you'll get somebody else, or you can text message them, or you can go online and chat with them there. So let's play the BetterHelp commercial real quick. That commercial still gets me every time.
Yeah.
Just today, I probably said 2 or 3 of those just today, and knowing that right now my brain is focused on Tuesday, because of the knee manipulation and everything, and so I'm hanging in there, and I'm literally hanging in there because there's a strong possibility that when they do the knee manipulation, they could break a bone, they can rip a tendon or muscle. So I'm definitely worried about that. And so yeah, the commercial gets me every time, man. And then if you're a veteran and you're thinking about filing for disability, you got a question about your disability, or you want a second opinion, HomeFront Sitrep is partnered with Monica Sanford from the Monica Sanford Show. You can email her at askmonica0@gmail.com, and she will respond back to you pretty quickly. And she will set up a Zoom call with you and talk with you and decide what your next steps are. So you can reach out to Monica as well. What's up, Miss Andrea? How are you? We the people. So yeah, you can definitely reach out to Ask Monica. Let's play that commercial real quick. I should have that Allen Girl and drink it while I was listening to that music.
Man, I tell you, that song every time. That beat.
Yeah, that beat just fits right in there with that Allen Girl.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, it's that time of night, my friend.
Yeah, before we go, though, this weekend, this Saturday specifically, is the annual Wreaths Across America wreath laying. It's happening at veteran cemeteries all across our nation, or even cemeteries where veterans are buried. I highly encourage you to go out, see if they're laying wreaths. And when you lay that wreath, say that person's name out loud, because that person doesn't die until their name spoken for the last time.
Mm. Yeah, and it's a very powerful experience when you go out there and you lay a wreath on somebody's grave, whether you know them or not, and you say their name out loud. Because we always say that, as long as their name is spoken, their memory, they're never lost or forgotten. So you always have to go out and say their names. What's going on, Miss Chrissy Mobley? How are you, my dear? But yeah, so definitely, go out and purchase a wreath. There's several organizations out there that you can go to their website that does this. And if you buy a wreath from their link, $5 of that sale will go to that organization so they can continue the mission of helping veterans. And then you go place your wreath and say your person's name out loud. Purchase multiple wreaths, because I know there's a buttload, a plethora of veterans out there that don't get wreaths. So buy multiple wreaths.
Yeah, they don't have a family anymore to lay a wreath. The family is gone.
Yeah, that's like the veteran cemetery here. I'm going to go up to it tomorrow, and because we have a veterans memorial section, the veteran section here at our, and I'm going to go up there and I'm going to place a couple wreaths tomorrow. So definitely do that, guys. It's that time of night. So like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, what's going on, Frank? Like we always say on HomeFront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We got your
your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.